two magnificent amphitheaters in Roman period, Colosseum and Amphitheater of Pompeii. In Roman era, gladiatorial contests were so popular that amphitheaters, the name of the place where the contests were held, were built magnificently. Although not only gladiatorial contests were held in these amphitheaters. The most popular amphitheater is the Colosseum, an icon of Rome that attracts many tourists, even though 2/3 of the building is in ruins. Apart from that, there is Rome's oldest amphitheater located in the prosperous city of Pompeii, with its erotic arts and gladiatorial contests, the Amphitheater of Pompeii. This amphitheater survived the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. This time we will talk about two amphitheaters that were used for gladiatorial contests during Roman reign. Before we talk further, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. The Colosseum was originally known as the Flavian Amphitheater. It was built by the Flavian dynasty amidst the popularity of gladiatorial contests. According to Livy, a Roman historian, gladiatorial games were first played during the First Punic War in 264 BC against Carthage. Gladiatorial contests were an entertainment for the Roman people that was participated in by slaves, prisoners of war, and convicted criminals. It led to a drastic increase in the number of slaves in Rome. Before the Flavian Amphitheater was built, gladiators were an important part of Roman society in the 2nd century BC. Eventually, a temporary wooden structure was built in the center of the city to hold gladiatorial games. In 29 BC, it was replaced by an amphitheater of Statilius Taurus, a victorious general allied with the future Emperor Augustus. The small amphitheater was built on the site of Campus Martius in the center of Rome. In the 1st century AD, two Roman emperors, Caligula and Nero, began building an amphitheater at Campus Martius. However, Caligula's amphitheater was never finished because he was killed in 41 AD, while Nero's amphitheater was made with wood, small in size with a small capacity as well. Obviously, the amphitheater could not support the enthusiasm of all the people who wanted to watch gladiatorial contests. After the Great Fire of 64 AD struck Rome, Nero made a large and luxurious palace for himself called Nero's Golden Palace. 5 years later, in 69 AD, Nero's reign collapsed after he committed suicide. His death led to poor governance and triggered numerous civil wars that raged on and on. 3 other emperors succeeded in seizing power. In 69 AD, Vespasian ascended to the throne. He served for 10 years until 79 AD. Like previous Roman emperors, Vespasian also built lavish buildings that would mark their reign during his empire. Eventually, he decided to build an amphitheater on the grounds of Nero's former Golden Palace around 70 to 72 AD as a gift to the Roman people. The amphitheater was located to the east of Palatine Hill and took a decade to build. The amphitheater, made of stone and concrete, was built on an artificial lake located in the center of the palace. The artificial lake was drained to create an amphitheater area with a length of 189 meters and a width of 156 meters or 652 by 531 feet. The 4-story amphitheater was equipped with 80 different entrances, allowing tens of thousands of spectators to exit and enter easily and quickly. This kind of design is very useful, which is why soccer and other sports stadiums around the world replicate it. To enhance the amphitheater's appearance, the limestone exterior was made aesthetically pleasing. Other decorations were shaped to impress and express the power of the new empire. Vespasian died before the construction of the amphitheater was completed. His reign was succeeded by his son, Emperor Titus, who ruled from 79 to 81 AD. In 80 AD, Titus opened the amphitheater with 100 days of gladiatorial contests. The amphitheater was introduced as the Flavian Amphitheater. Titus was an emperor who was loved and admired by his people, especially after he worked to restore the aftermath of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, which destroyed the cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum. When Titus died, his son Domitian continued his reign from 81 to 96 AD. During Vespasian's reign, they sought to temper the excessive power of the Roman courts, propagandize public welfare, and restore the authority of the Senate. One of the ways they did this was by building the Flavian Amphitheater to support the pleasures and welfare of their subjects. Domitian made the final construction of the amphitheater by adding the top floor in 82 AD. Each doorway was semi-arched and had a different style or order. The style was to distinguish seating according to the social status of the audience, because gladiatorial contests could be watched by anyone. At the bottom was the relatively simple Doric order, In the middle was the Ionic order, and at the top was the Corinthian order. The Arca of Constantine was built at the amphitheater's main entrance in 315 AD to honor Constantine's victory over Maxentius at Pons Milvius. Unlike other amphitheaters that were dug into the hillside for additional support, the Flavian amphitheater was built using a more complex system of belly vaults and mines. Its main structural framework and facade were made from travertine, its secondary walls from volcanic tuff, and its inner bowl and arcade vault from concrete. The spectators were covered by a velarium or canopy to protect them from the sun. The velarium was conjured up and stretched across the roof of the amphitheater by hundreds of Roman sailors. The Flavian amphitheater became the largest in Rome to this day. Domitian also built a series of tunnels for animals and gladiators to support other contests. Because not only gladiatorial contests, many other big battles such as human and animal fights and mock naval battles were organized there. Moreover, the amphitheater continues to be expanded to accommodate a maximum of 75,000 people. Emperor Commodus, who ruled from 180 AD to 192 AD, was known to be obsessed with sports and gladiatorial combat. He even fought at the Flavian amphitheater, although he was not killed. His authoritarian leadership style and extravagant behavior created instability in the Roman Empire. He died in 192 AD after being strangled by a wrestler in his bathtub on the orders of his lover Marcia. After his death, there was a new civil war that marked the crisis of the 3rd century. In this period, dozens of emperors ruled between the 2300s and 2800s. During this period, the amphitheater was not maintained at all. The amphitheater even burned down in the early 3rd century, but was not repaired for centuries. The advent of Christianity soon led many to question the morality of gladiatorial contests. Starting in 399, Emperor Honorius banned gladiatorial contests during the late 4th and early 5th centuries. Once the Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476 AD and was replaced by the Ostrogoth Kingdom of Italy, gladiatorial contests completely disappeared. But the Roman aristocracy continued to hold the contests during the 6th century on periodical basis. Although gladiators have been abandoned, the Flavian amphitheater still stands strong. In the Middle Ages, the amphitheater's use changed to a small chapel built around the 6th century. In addition, it was also used for funerals. The Flavian amphitheater is also known as the Colosseum, a name derived from its colossal size. It may have been in use since the 2nd century AD. Most of the buildings were eventually rented out as residences for Romans and workshops. The devastating earthquake that damaged much of Rome in 1349 also damaged the southern part of the Colosseum to the point of collapse. The damage was worsened by lightning, pollution, and vandalism. The Colosseum was once used as a defensive fortress along the Tiber River by two prominent Roman families, the Annibaldi and the Frangipani. For 1,000 years, the Colosseum was used as a stone quarry to build other buildings such as Palazzo Venezia, St. Peter's, and St. John Lateran. Most of the buildings were eventually rented out as residences for Romans and workshops. In the 18th century, a pope wanted to restore the Colosseum as a sacred Christian site because a small chapel and Christian cemetery had previously been built there. After its restoration, the Colosseum became Rome's main tourist attraction, attracting nearly 7 million visitors each year. The Colosseum was named one of the new 7 wonders of the world. It also hosts exhibitions related to Roman culture on a regular basis. The Amphitheater of Pompeii is the oldest amphitheater in Rome to this day. It was built 150 years before the Colosseum in the legendary city of Pompeii. The city was located south of ancient Rome, under Mount Venuvius along the shores of the Bay of Naples. Pompeii has existed since the 8th century BC during Greek times and was part of the Hellenistic sphere. In Roman period, the city flourished and was able to stand on its own. Pompeii's wealth came from its fertile volcanic soil. Olive oil, wine, and other crops were produced in Pompeii. Pompeii wine was considered a prestigious, expensive drink. Before the eruption of Mount Venuvius, historians estimate the population living in Pompeii was around 12,000 people, like most other cities in Rome. There were many small factories, artisan shops, bars, cafes, public baths, and embroidery houses bustling with townsfolk, slaves, and tourists. There are also many elegantly designed mansions and villas with works of art, circled by paved streets with fountains in the center. Roman officials often vacation in Rome to enjoy the beauty of the Gulf of Naples and the coast of Campania. In addition to its natural beauty, The Amphitheater of Pompeii was also an attraction for tourists. Two of Lucius Cornelius Sulla's commanders, Caius Quinctius Valgus and Marcius Porcius, took the initiative to build it at their own expense. The arena is located in the southeast of Pompeii with a length of 135 meters and a width of 104 meters. The design is very simple, with a small oval shape and thematic frescoes decorating the walls. The interior depicts the hunting of wild animals, for example bulls against bears, and other battles. The arena was dug 6 meters deep, then piled up into an embankment that functioned as seating. The amphitheater was estimated to hold up to 20,000 spectators from all over Rome. A 2-meter-long balustrade blocked the spectators from the fights below them, but it could not protect the spectators sitting closest to the arena. The amphitheater was built in a peripheral area to accommodate many people. An external staircase connected the upper and lower aisles. The 2 doors provide access to exits and entrances with different functions. Porta Triumphalis was for the opening procession of gladiators, while Porta Libitinensis was for removing the dead. At the top were the names of the magistrates who built the staircase. A trapezoidal staircase in front of the building with 6 arches was never built in the history of Roman architecture. Here are some contests that were often held at the Amphitheater of Pompeii besides gladiatorial contests. First, there was chariot racing. This contest was similar to modern car racing, except that they used several horses and small chariots while holding sharp weapons to attack. This contest has a very high level of cruelty and violence because it can injure horses to the point of threatening life. Secondly, hunting animals from dangerous animals like tigers to fragile animals like peacocks and zebras. In the 59th century AD, there was a riot between supporters of Pompey and Nocera. So the Roman Senate decided to close the Amphitheater of Pompeii for 10 years. However, the ban was lifted earlier to cheer and boost the spirits of Pompeii's residents after the earthquake. In 62 AD, the amphitheater's main building was reconstructed, funded by C. Crispus Pansa and his son. 35 spectator seats were added. Brick supports were built for tunnel access. All contests could be watched by all social classes, hence seating was provided according to the status of the spectators. The Ima Cavia row was reserved for the rich, the media row for the general public, while the Summa Cavia row was for slaves, the lowest class, and women. A covered walkway was added to the seating area so that the elite could enter their seats through an internal entrance. The balustrades were painted with bright panels depicting gladiatorial fights. During the renovation, contests were suspended for 3 years. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius killed 2,000 inhabitants of Pompeii, while thousands more began to leave Pompeii. The building of the Amphitheater of Pompeii survived as most of the building was covered by volcanic material. Only the upper part was visible during the Middle Ages. In early 1823, the amphitheater began to be cleared of the various materials covering it by Michele Arditi and Antonio Bonucci. It wasn't until the 20th century that the amphitheater area was systematically excavated by Amedeo Maiuri, a major figure in Pompeii archaeology. The upper part of the amphitheater was severely damaged, but its magnificent and impressive construction can be seen to this day.